We're going to take a look at the reciprocal of cosine, secant. And so what is secant? 1 over cosine. So this is exactly what we did previously. You're going to actually fill this out. So make sure you put secant on the top, and then you're going to use the unit circle. Remember, cosine is the x value, so it's going to be the first value. All right, so make sure you just go ahead and fill out the table, and then answer all the questions below. I'm just going to start you off and make sure that you can. So if I have secant 3x or 3 theta, what does that mean? It's the opposite, right? So you're going to shrink by a third, okay? So, or rather divide by 3, all right, or multiply by a third, however you want to look at it. So we're going to go ahead and split it up evenly as you can. And remember what the graph cosine looks like, right? So this is sine. It's really cosine is sine shifted to the left, pi over 2. So I usually draw a sine graph and then label my cosine. But remember, cosine is passes the y-intercept at 1. Okay, so label your quadrantal points, which is what you need. And then the hint would be if you're trying to compress it, right? You need to multiply all these quadrantal points by what you're trying to compress it by, which is 1/3. So once you multiply that out, you're going to find your new points and you're going to put them on the graph on the right-hand side right here. Okay. After that, so you're going to, let's write that down. You're going to graph the y equals cosine 3 theta, then draw your isotopes, and then graph y equals secant 3 theta, just like we did previously, only now we're doing it for cosine or for secant. All right, then here, what do we do? So again, we just did this. We shrank it by a third because it was opposite. And what does a 2 do? Remember, the 2 completely by itself is your amplitude. Or another way you can think of it is you're stretching the y by 2. All right, what are we doing here? So the same thing as before. It's the exact same question. You're shrinking it by a third. You're stretching it by 2. And the new thing is that +1 at the very end. What does that do? That moves the graph up by 1. So on the y-axis, all your values are going to shift up by 1. Okay, so I'm just giving you a couple of hints just to make sure that you can do it. Let's go ahead and try it out for ourselves.